everyone, and welcome to another edition of my Become Unstoppable series. And as always, I've got an amazing guest for you today. We're going to be talking manifestation. Lucia, would you like to introduce yourself, my darling?
Of course. Hello, everybody. My lovelies. I do like to say my lovelies. I'm always like, hello, my lovelies. I think that's my Devon background. My name is Lucia Craddock, and I am a manifesting and vision coach, which I will explain a bit more. Most people are like, oh, what? It's not your average job, career, but I will be explaining a lot more today about what that actually is, and hopefully sharing some of my knowledge and passion with you about what manifesting is. So then hopefully you can tap into that power as well, because that's what I'm just really, really passionate about, empowering people to discover the law of attraction, the law of vibration, but how they can implement that in their life as well. So we're always using this law. It's like the law of gravity, but rather than just kind of going through life, we can intentionally use it and tap into it. Which is I'm just really passionate about people and helping people to create their vision that really sets their soul on fire, and to dream bigger, because we are limitless and unstoppable.
Exactly. So thank you for that, my lovelies. See, I'm doing it now, my lovely.
I
think I say my lovely quite a lot, and because that just rolled off my tongue without even thinking about it. I hadn't really thought about it before, but I think I do. Anyway, so those who don't know me, I'm Julie Fitzpatrick. I'm a multi-award-winning therapist and coach, and my passion really is supporting you people out there who are feeling stressed, lacking in confidence, and you really want to become unstoppable, right? So I help you get from being stuck to unstoppable, and I work with a subconscious mind so that we can tap into the root cause of what's holding you back. So there'll be more about us later, but before we get going, Lucia, I would like you to tell us and everyone that's watching, what does being unstoppable mean to you?
So I've given this question a lot of thought. I love this question. I have given it a lot of thought. And I think for me, being unstoppable is about, I know, I trust that the universe has got my back. And this is something that people are always like, why are you so happy? Like, I've been through my fair share of ups and downs, probably more than most people have in their entire life. And, you know, your outlook on how you look at things is, for me, because I've got this complete trust and surrender, but it was hard to get to that point. In the universe has got my back, and what is meant to be is to be. Nothing's like, something will come up and it's like, okay, where do we go forward? This is meant to happen. It's okay. It's okay. Like, I remember having this moment when we were stuck at the side of the motorway and the car, sorry, 1 second, my cat, I knew this was going to happen. Went live, the cat wanted to go out. Stuck at the side of the motorway, and like kind of old Lucia would have gone, no, it's not gonna go, and we'd run out of petrol, and I said to my husband, like, we need to go get petrol. He's like, this will be fine. So I would have been throwing all my toys out the pram and getting stressed, and I was like, no, we are meant to be here. And I remember this moment, and it was the first time I'd fully accepted that trust and surrender. And it just literally, it was in the dark, it was raining, with the side of the road, and I'm like, yes. An absolute nutter. And I was like, I get it, I feel it. It's not me trying to believe it, I felt it. And I was like, if we'd carried on, something might have happened down the motorway, something might happen to the car, you know, we don't know. So I'm trusting that this is where I'm meant to be. So when you have that, and again, everything comes back to mindset. It really, really does. And when you've got that mindset, you're like, okay, that it's okay, you know, and you're very solution focused. That's meant to be. I'm not going to let it affect me and my energy. Then I think you do become unstoppable, because anything that gets thrown at you, you've got this understanding, this awareness, this like, it's okay, it's all good. What happens? Obviously, not toxic positivity is something I'm really passionate about. Going, yay, I'm really happy, and really you're not inside. We need to feel the emotions. Of course, life is a roller coaster. Life throws some of the hardest things at you. Like I said, I've experienced heartbreaking so many ways and some unbelievable situations, and you have to go into them and feel them, but they don't stop me for long, because I get back onto that, okay, I'm in control of myself, the universe has got my back, and I know that I'm aligned, and I can only control what I can control at the end of the day. Your reactions and how you respond to things is what we can control. We can't control the event, but our response will control that outcome. So, and again, I've learned that over many years. I've turned 42 on Sunday. And I think my first lesson in this was really, I think when I was about 17. And yeah, I think you're always growing and you're always, it's a school day. It really is. And I think having that growth mindset and always, I mean, I know everything. Yeah, I'm going to sit back. You know, we're always learning, always growing, always self-improvement. I'm going on a tangent, but by the way, I'm passionate about this topic.
Yeah.
You know, we always need to be learning, growing, looking, okay, well, what else can I do to grow myself, to grow my awareness, to grow my belief? You know, whether that is working with a coach like yourself, whether that is reading self-development, whether that is going on a retreat or going to an event, or, you know, whatever that looks like, reading a podcast, even watching this video, you know, always having that first, I think also makes me unstoppable, because I'm always like, how can I improve? How can I grow? What can I learn? What can I do? And having that energy. So that there's many things, but I think to encompass it, really, knowing that the universe has absolutely got my back, and you just let everything go. You're like, it's all good. You kind of think it's just it's all good. That was meant to happen. And sometimes it's not even about us. Sometimes you'll never know the reason why, and you can't try and control that.
And you're right about the controlling. I mean, the only thing we can control are our thoughts, right?
Yeah.
We can't. Everything else is, you know, white noise, really.
It is.
But it's about how we allow all of those external things in life impact us, isn't it? If we allow them to make us upset, or allow someone's words that they've just said to us upset us, then we need to do work on ourselves, because we're taking too much on board, aren't we? Because we've got those limiting beliefs then that, what is the matter with me? Why am I ugly? Am I fat? Am I thin? Am I stupid? You know, oh my God. But until you work on yourself and accept you for who you are, then unfortunately you're likely to be sucking in other people's negative energies, aren't you? And you know, it impacts you.
Totally. So yeah, there's lots of lessons and little light bulb moments along the way. But yeah, trusting and surrendering, because then anything that gets thrown at you, you don't stop. You keep on going, because, you know, you're
confident. But you're not all, most of us don't behave like that though, do we? Because most of us haven't sorted out all their rubbish, if you like.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't manifest if you're in a bad place, or, well, you do manifest, actually. That's the whole problem, isn't it? Everyone's manifesting all the time, but it's whether you're manifesting good stuff or bad stuff, isn't it? And most of us are sucking in all the negativity, aren't they?
Exactly. So it's always like, so the law, and people always ask me, what question I get often is, what's the difference between manifesting and the law of attraction? So my summary of this, so the law of attraction is always in action. So the law of attraction, like the law of gravity is always working. It's not something we intentionally do. And law of attraction is exactly the same. The law of attraction, the law of vibration, it's just as important as the law of attraction, really. The law of vibration, everything is vibrating at a certain frequency, you know, and those frequencies are matching each other. So the law of vibration and law of attraction are very much intertwined. But I feel, for me, manifesting is the physical activity of tapping into that. So that's when you're consciously manifesting, is when you're consciously doing something. So you're always, well, not necessarily consciously doing it, it's the act of doing it. So the law of attraction is the actual thing, and manifesting is the thing we do to tap into that energy, if that makes sense. And like you said, it's always working. The law of attraction is always in action, and we're either consciously or unconsciously working with it. And this is what I love to help people do, is really tap into how to intentionally and consciously use that. Use the law of attraction to create flow in your life, to create ease, and to attract everything that you want. Not just like, you're like, oh, I've got a vision board and it's all over here and I want this big thing one day. It's like, I'm really passionate about, it's not about the thing, the destination, it's about the journey. It's about creating each moment in our life, because life can feel very out of control. You know, life is busy. I don't know about anybody else. Everyone I talk to, people are juggling work and families and social life, and then trying to be healthy and do these things. And it's like juggling loads of plates. If you're watching, I don't know if you can comment on this. Like, I would love people to comment. Like, do you feel like you are just a professional juggler, like, woo, juggling this and juggling that and loads of plates? And you see it all the time. People are getting burnt out. People aren't feeling.
That's my niche client, funny enough.
That's so you'll know this in your work then, and it's like, and you know, I've been there. I had a massive burnout.
So yeah, tell us about your story then. Let's get into that.
So God, you'll get to know I'm not a normal character.
What's normal, love? What's normal?
I know. But from a really young age, I didn't buy into life. I was like, this life thing, seeing everybody else, like, okay, I'm from Devon. And I saw people living in the same villages their whole life, doing the same job their whole life. And then I was like, is that it? Is that what we're here to do? I was like, that doesn't add up to me. It was always like, and I was brought up quite religious as well. Not kind of very religious. A lot of my family are from Liverpool. It's all religions around. I was at a church school. I went to church every Sunday, and I was like, something's not adding up here either, you know. So I was always quite curious and like, what is life? Like, why are we here? Like, quite a young age, asking all these questions, and I was like, curious. And I just didn't. For me, I was like, there's more. I always had this knowing. I didn't know what it was. I was like, there's more to life. And not that there's anything wrong if people live in the same place and have the same job. That's their thing. But for me, it didn't vibrate at the right level. I was like, that doesn't sit right with me. I feel like I need to do more. And again, I don't know whether it's from being from a small place. I was always like, I want to see the world, and I want to like have adventures.
You wouldn't have understood that vibration bit then, though.
Oh, not at all. No.
Just thought, I'm a bit, like you said, a bit weird.
I was just like, it doesn't add up. Like, things don't, like, we're here, we work, we die, and that's it. If we're good, we go here. If we're bad, we go here. Like, I was like, that's the narrative that I was sold, you know. So I was like, there must be more, you know. What's that like? So I was curious, and it wasn't actually until I left Devon as soon as I turned 18. I was like, woohoo, I'm off. Left Devon, moved to London, shiny bright lights, and that was just after my first. Okay, I don't know how, like, I'm going to go on a tangent here anyway. As I said, like, when I was 17 was where I had my first big breakdown. I suffered with mental health throughout my life. Not younger, because I've always been a very kind of positive person. But again, when life throws a lot at you, I lost a lot of friends, quite tragically, very quickly, within the space of 3 months, and my nan. I was in an abusive relationship. I was going through my A-levels. I'd moved out of home as well. So I had all these financial responsibilities, college and working 2 jobs, and then all this loss and grief to deal with as well. And I couldn't process it. So I just had a massive breakdown. I actually went to see a therapist who was amazing, who really helped me through that time. And I remember someone saying to me, this went on for about 3 months. I was in a really bad depression. I thought about ending my life. I had no vision, no direction. I was overwhelmed with life. And I just kind of I was a shell going through the motions at a young age to experience that as well. And someone said to me, and I always remember this, and this is one of my things that it sticks with you, a defining moment in your life. Someone said, there are no problems, there are only solutions. And something just lit inside me. And all I've been doing is looking at everything that was wrong. I was just focused on, I've lost this person, life is so unfair, this is here, and all that my entire headspace. And again, and I still have to do this now. If I start to focus too much on it's like positive, negative, but on lower vibration situations, or lower vibration energies, I can feel it's like a vortex, and it starts to suck you in. And then once that one kind of low vibration thought comes in, they all start. It's like the darkness. I call it. The darkness comes in. It's like, and it tries to pull you down. And now I have the tools to be able to have that self-awareness and get myself out of that place. And that's what got me into a lot of the work I do now. But it was like this light went off inside me, and I was like, oh my God, yes. So rather than me going, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, I'm so confused, I'm like, blah, 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 I've got all these options, I don't know what to do. Suddenly it was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do in my life. I've got all these options and I'm alive. Like my friends, they died young. They were all from 16, 17, and 18 years old, and they never had that opportunity to live. So it's now my duty to freaking live my life to the absolute fullest, because, who am I to not? So rather than me getting depressed about it, I pivoted with that energy, and I started to look at all the solutions. I was like, okay, what is my solutions? And I had, thank you, universe, not that I really knew it at that time. I was presented with the opportunity to come and do work experience in London, doing something I was really passionate about and studying photography at the time, from a family friend. I grabbed it, and that changed my life. And I moved to London, and that's kind of how I got started on my journey. But I remember that's the first, looking back, obviously I didn't realize at the time, but that was my first step in my own personal and spiritual journey. And then once I was in London, a couple of years down the line anyway, well, lots of things happened in between, but I started to work for I was a TV presenter, and I started to work for a show called Psychic TV. And that's what really started. It was the first time I got introduced to the spiritual world. And I was like, things start this, going back to what I was saying at the beginning, things didn't really add up. But when I started to learn about spirituality, I was like, this resonates with me. This feels like, okay, this makes sense. And because I'm always curious, I love studying, I love learning, and I was around the most amazing. So I was the presenter, and I would interview some of the top psychics.
Wow.
Yeah, they were everything from mediums, clairvoyants, crystal people, healers, like all these people. And I was like, oh my God, how did you do that? I had no training to be a TV presenter. I have dyslexia. I have verbal dyslexia. I will come out of all kinds of.
You have to do auto cue then?
No. It was live TV 5 hours at a time. I was just so excited. And I was just like, oh my God, how did you do that? Did you just see that? Oh my God. So they just thought it was brilliant. They were like, brilliant. fell into the yeah, rather than like, hello and welcome to Psychic TV today. Today we are going to do this. I was like, hello. Today, oh my God, did you just see what they did? Oh my God. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But that really started my spiritual development journey. I had family friends, and I remember I was actually in a really bad car accident when I was 15. That was another turning point of my life. And I was saying, I was a bit off the rails, teenager. What's it going to take to stop us? And after that, I remember going to have with they're like my auntie and uncle, not blood auntie and uncle. And I went to have, and now I know it's Reiki. At the time, I didn't know it was Reiki. I went to have, they went to do Reiki and all this spiritual healing on me. So that was my first experience of healing. And then I went to study with them after that. So when I got into spirituality, I went to study Reiki. So with my mum and my sister, I've got quite a spiritual family as well, very open-minded. And yeah, I just was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. This feels like it makes sense to me. And the traditional.
Is this the first time you started to feel that you'd found a connection then?
Yeah, and I started to go on my own spiritual development courses as well. So I learned how to work with crystals. I learned how to read tarot cards. I learned how to channel my guides. I learned what my guides were. If you're watching this, you're thinking, what is a guide? What is all this? It's a little bit woo-woo stuff if you're not into the spiritual world. But yeah, it's just working with. So my belief is that we have a spiritual team. It's basically like imagine you've got PAs and you've got a whole spiritual team who are working with you, and they're always there, but they have it's free will. So they're not just going to interfere and intervene with your life. You have to give them permission, and you can connect with them. The stronger you can connect. Some people are naturally psychic. Some people, everybody has it. It's an innate ability within each and every one of us. And it's like you go to the gym. The more you work with it, the stronger that muscle gets. And it's exactly the same. And I've been working with that for 20 years now. I've been working with these energies, and it blows my mind. And the validation. So I'm all about validation. Like, I'm a very skeptical person. So I'm not just like, so I'm like, prove it. And I think when working on the TV as a presenter, because I was always like, oh my God, the validation was so specific and so like, there's no way on earth someone could have known that detail, I'm like, oh my God. And when I started to hear more and get that validation, I was like, okay, there's something in this, and just researched and studied and learned. And I was just like this sponge, this whole world had just opened up to me. I was like, oh my God.
It's quite a complicated world, isn't it? Because I've been going to my therapy training at the moment. We're like very well, you know from my story as well, don't you, about Malika stars? Yeah. And if this is how much if this is how much I've got to learn, I'm like here, sort of thing. Yeah. But when they start teaching it, I'm like, what?
Yeah. And some of it, I find some of it can be very woo-woo and a bit like very big word, like bit
Yeah,
too.
I like layman's terms.
Yeah, and I've always been like that, even with the manifesting stuff. I always say, like, I want to keep it practical and relatable. I don't want it to be too out there and too woo-woo. What I'm very much about is the scientific side. I'm very into neuroscience, into like the psychology behind it all. And I think now we're at a point in time, as I said, I've been in this world for 20 odd years. And now more than ever, spirituality and science are really linking up. Like you can prove, we've always known scientifically, we have an electromagnetic field around us. You can physically test that with science. So that they call it an electromagnetic field in science and spirituality, we call it your aura. So all of the things that science are backing it up even more. Science prove everything is made out of energy. Everything you can read a vibration of something. And so we say it's all about the vibes. It's like, oh no, it's not just like we're all just hippies, like, woo, it's all about the vibes. It is a physical vibration. You can test what the vibrational level is on a scientific level. So I love to back up the science, the spirituality with the science, and together, it's just a different language.
And
it's
I
the
think
same thing, different language.
Yeah, I think that's important because there are a lot of skeptics out there, and a lot of scientists even, or doctors or whatever will go, or what's all that. But I think the more we can prove stuff, the more we can get the world more aligned then, can't we? Because a lot of people won't believe it unless it's factual, which is a shame because magic's been happening for years, right? It's just
totally. Yeah, and it's the and that's why I don't like to use too many like woo-woo-y words. Like you look at quantum physics, and what quantum physics describes is the law of attraction. It's all, and even with science, it's like is attract like, positive will attract negative. It's all, everything is interconnected. And it's whatever works for you. Like if words are too big and too sciencey, it goes over my head, so it's really bridging it. There's an amazing guy called Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I think especially women seem to be more open. We have that natural, and can never say it, empathetic, like openness. And this is generalizing. So, I know that's not always the case. Men are a lot more logical. Men think from the right side of their brain. Women are more left side of their brain. So, especially with like my husband's very open. He's been in martial arts, so he understood about energy from a martial arts point of view. But a lot of the woo-woo stuff, he was like, but then I introduced him to Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's I think he's a neuroplasticity. I can't remember what his exact title is, so he's got some incredible books, and he describes spirituality from a very scientific quantum physics level. And that's a great start. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, you guys are a little bit too woo-woo for me, but you're like, okay, I'm open to learning. And I think we should always challenge things, whether you believe it or not. It's good to challenge things and to learn and to grow. Don't dismiss anything. I've always been like that. And again, going back to when I worked on TV, I was like, don't believe what I'm telling you. Don't believe what people say. You have to experience it for yourself. When you experience it personally, and you get your own validation, then it's real. I can tell you till the cows come home, but unless you experience it for yourself, you will never know. So be curious, be curious, be open-minded. And then, you do your own research, do your own homework. But if you are more of a kind of scientific wide brain, and you want that language, then definitely Dr. Joe Dispenza is an amazing, and he wrote again, it's all in your world now with what you do, and very much about how we can rewire our brains. Our brains, we used to think our brains were fixed, but they're not. There's neuroplasticity. Your brains can move, and we can change our brains.
Well, that's where the word mindset came from, wasn't it? Well, your mind is set. That's why. But it isn't. Absolutely isn't.
Yeah.
And that's good as well, because they can prove that with brain scans and things like that as well.
Exactly. So I think we're always learning. We're always new developments. There's new tests that people can do, so you can read. You can understand things and read things. It is. I think it goes back to old times. People are quite scared of things they don't understand. Go back to the old witch times and like healers, people who use herbs to heal things, who are saying, look, you're a witch and you're dangerous, But that's always been like everything we need in this world is available to us. Like the medicines we need, the plants we need are there. So this plant does this thing to heal you. And they've known that since ancient times. And again, it's been adapted and maybe manipulated a little bit over time.
And I think that nowadays we're all too reliant, aren't we, on prescribed, well, obviously and unsubscribed, maybe, but prescribed drugs. And unfortunately, because it's such a big money spinner, isn't it? Like billions and billions and billions and billions of pounds are at stake here. But I think when we can get back to understanding that natural remedies are way better for us, but it's not only just that though, and this is how I work with my clients. My whole group program is all around getting people to understand the importance of looking after ourselves, right? Because like you were saying earlier, like that's what I say all the time. Like if you're too busy being busy and you haven't got time to look after yourself, then you're not being the best version of yourself. So you're not being the best advocate for your children and your family. And then what happens? You're not being present. So therefore you're not tapping into your body to understand how you're feeling. And then if you're not feeling, then you're suppressing your feelings or repressing them, or you're using escape tactics, which are not good either because they're addiction based. And then it stores, and then we get sick. And then we're at the doctors getting these prescription stuff to fix stuff. Actually, if you took the time, you could actually fix yourself from within, right?
Yeah,
and, you know,
it's like the Louise Hay. I love Louise Hay. It's all how disease within the body comes from dis-ease. And it's normally the emotional stuff, you know, our body is physically storing those emotions in some way. If we're not expressing them or dealing with them, then they will come out in a physical form in some way or another. So yeah, and it's an exciting time in this. And as I said, keep going back to it. But when I first started at Psychic TV, it was all very like, ooh, that's a little bit woo woo. No one spoke about any of that. But now it's so mainstream. And even so, I was on that show for 5 years.
Someone said this to me the other day, and I said, I feel like it is, but I don't know if that's just because I'm in that world now. But do you, having not seen it, and now do you think there's
massively, yeah? Although I know what you're saying, I'm in that world as well, but I think before, even the 5 years that I was on that show, seeing the difference in people's perception and how it was growing, and you know, even now it's more like people now understand about manifesting. There's a lot of talk, but yesterday morning, my husband was like, I'm just on, like, open this phone in the morning, and it was Google News. Google News had an article about how people are using ChatGPT to help with their manifestations, and that was on Google, you know, Google News. They're using it to fine tune what they're saying. But it's a lot more mainstream now. We're still nowhere near the acceptance that it needs to be into our, you know, my dream one day is that, you know, it will be very much a normal thing. We'll be taught about our vibration and how to manage our vibrations at school, how your vibrations attract what you're doing. Can you imagine? Oh my God.
And you think, right? I mean, like you say, it's going to be a long time coming, but it doesn't have to be if people start getting on board with it. But imagine, like, if they had someone like you in Houses of Parliament, right?
You imagine.
Hi. I mean, I don't know about you, but I very rarely watch the news now because I find it too depressing, and it just brings you down, doesn't it? I know I kind of have a quick little peek just to make sure nothing, you know. But when I see all this negativity, it just really upsets me, and I can't. All right, you could call it, I'm burying my head in the sand, call it what you like, right? But I can't change it. So the only change I can do is try and get as many clients as I can through my work and help transform their lives, right? Other than that, there's not much else I can do. So it's about spreading the word, isn't it? And that's what we can do, obviously.
Managing your energy. If you know, and this is a lot of the work that I teach, if you know that there's something that lowers your vibration and it affects your energy, like your energy is everything. You have to protect your energy at all costs. And the more we can do that, and the more we go, actually, that's lowering my vibration. It's not making me feel good. What good is that doing? You know, and it's not about ignorance. You know, if there's something we need to know, we will get to know that through I'm sure the channel of the Facebook world, or, you know, social media. There's something major happening that we need to know that's going to affect our lives on a personal level, and it's good to have an awareness about what's going on. But like you said, if it's something we can't physically change ourselves, what can we change? And like like you said, the work that you do, you're directly impacting people's lives, and you're making a change in the world. And for you to do that, you need to be in your vibration. You need to be of a high vibration for you. So that's you changing the world. Is like, if I watch the news, is it going to change the world? No. If I manage my vibration and then I can positively impact the world, is that changing the world? Yes. Exactly. So again, it's having that awareness and not doing things out of obligation or conditioning. Like, this is the thing we do. We sit there and we watch the news because that's what we do. It's like actually,
yeah. I had a client yesterday, funny enough, and when I first started, because I haven't been doing it like donkey's years or anything, I'd be like really thinking, oh my God, what I've got, let's go through his form again. What did he say? All right, okay, how am I gonna work? What now? I'm like, oh, how exciting. And I'm just sitting there going, just tap into my intuition now. And sure, I've got a process, but I don't, I just go with what comes up. And you just sit there, and I'm just so confident now that I just, and you get the client, they'll go, well, what if it doesn't work for me? Well, it works for everybody. I haven't had anyone it doesn't work for.
Yeah. And I love that question. People are like, what if it doesn't work? I'm like, what if it does work? And it's so many. And I think and I don't know if this is just a British thing. I think we are quite wired to have a moan and see the kind of the doom and the gloom. It's like, oh, the weather's bad.
Well, it's not going to work for me.
If it's too hot, we're going to moan that it's too hot. If it's too cold, or we can put ourselves down a lot. You see the Americans, and they're like, "I'm freaking amazing, yes!" And like you think, "Oh, they're a bit too much."
Sometimes, but
but you think, "Well, they're a bit too much." There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. But in Britain, we're like, we'll have a moan. And we're like, we'll put ourselves down. I know that's something I've had to massively work on. I always say to people, you can look at your self-worth. If someone gives you a compliment, how do you respond to that compliment? If you're like, and I used to be like,
£5.
I was like, when I gave a compliment, I'd be like, why are they talking to me? Like, oh, I'm so unconfident. And now I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I can take that with gratitude and be like, oh, I really appreciate that. That's really beautiful. So it is, if I see other people putting themselves down, I'm like, come on, we need to work on that.
In the language, love, isn't it? It's all in the language that we speak.
It is. It really is. And even I sent a message to a lady this morning, and I saw a post that she did, and she was like, oh, hopefully one day I can maybe do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's change that language. If you've got a vision, this is your vision. This is what you want to do. This is what I'm going to do. Not even what. And I love that. Like one day. And I actually made one of my biggest decisions when I decided to move to Ibiza. So after I left the TV, because I actually decided to follow a dream of mine to move to Ibiza. And I remember that day, and I always said, oh, one day I'd love to live there. I'd done seasons and I had all my friends out there. One day. And one day I was like, what am I waiting for? When is that one day? And you've got to make today that day. I mean, I'm not going to say that day, but you can start to put the wheels in motion. And I wasn't like, I went, and moved to Ibiza that day. It was like, that, when you get to that enough is enough moment.
Yeah. And it's like you almost manifest it, I think, don't you?
Yeah, but I think we also, there's a level with manifesting. Manifesting is co-creating. The universe can do so much, but it's up to us. There's a big misconception. Like, I'm going to put a vision board up and it's all going to sit back and it's going to happen. Like, we need to take inspired action.
I was thinking more of the reverse of it, though. Right? And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So in 2020, when I got made redundant, right, I kept saying to my friends before that, doing that, I hate this job. I can't get out of it. I'm on bloody 3 months notice period. Now we're in the middle of, the pandemic. I'm not going to go and quit now, am I? And all this sort of stuff. Bang. Decision was taken out of my hands. You tell me I didn't manifest that.
Yeah, but and I also believe as well, I believe we do have our soul has a purpose.
Yeah.
And also, there's been a big shift in consciousness since 2012. There's been a big shift in consciousness, and you're seeing this happen a lot. If people aren't on the path that their soul came here to do, then the universe is giving us a massive. I think it's been slightly like tapping us, going hello. You're not in the right place. Hello. And there's a little signs and little nudges, and then it's just like, you're not listening. Like, bang.
I think you might be right there.
And this is and there's a huge, like, especially people like yourself who are in the world of helping people. There's a bit, like I said before, there's a big shift in the world, and there's a lot of it feels like there's a light in a dark battle. Okay, and it's really pushing people to where they need to be. Especially people who have a strong purpose in this world to make a difference. If you're not doing that, you would have felt like, I don't feel like there's something missing, like I'm not in the right place, you're not feeling fulfilled. And a lot of people that can manifest in health reasons. So many people are like, I got really ill. And then after that, I made a big decision. COVID was actually a blessing for a lot of people in the way that it gave them the space to go, actually, you can go. When you stop, you're like, actually, I'm not fulfilled. That job isn't making me happy. What do I want to do? So many people are like, oh, during lockdown, I started this business. During lockdown, I did this. And
I did, and so did my husband.
Exactly. And it was really like when we have that space and that time to stop. But so many people, they weren't, again, and I think the system is outdated. The system, like I said at the beginning, like you go to work, you get a job, you work 9 to 5 for 40, 60 years, and then you get your pension, then you retire, then you live. People are going, actually,
and the world you before you had a chance to live your retirement.
Exactly. Like, what? That's a bloody con.
What's that all about?
What's that all about? And then they up the pension age. It's like, and I get that is the system, and that worked. But I think because we're in a new paradigm now, and we've got the internet, we've got this freedom. The internet gives us the opportunity to be able to work from home. It gives us the opportunity to be able to work in different ways. And I think there's new, like the younger generation who are coming up, they, the education system needs to change massively to reflect this more and teach people like entrepreneurship. It's like that we're not set up for that. It's very much taught to keep you in that system. And I get it. The world needs to work as well. We can't all go and be entrepreneurs and live off the beach because the world will fall apart. Exactly. We do need people who are, working in shops. We do need people who are doctors and nurses and firemen and those key workers as well. But I think there's more options available. Whatever, people are getting more in tune with the alignment. And it's like, if that's what you've always wanted to do, you want to be a fireman, go be a fireman. That's amazing. But it's about doing there's more options now.
I agree.
There's more choices, there's more options, we're not as limited, and I definitely feel like we are here in this moment in time for a reason. Like you, me, whoever's watching this, especially people who have got that calling, it's like we might have been ignoring it, and now it's like the universe is pushing us, going, you need to follow your purpose now. You need to make a difference. There's a lot of darkness in the world right now. There's a lot of light. I really feel like we're at a huge tipping point. With our environment, with the the energy, the war, and there's so much divide and hate, and it's like now more than ever. And I think this is when now we need the people who are, we call light workers, if you want to call them, or people who are raising the vibration, or just people who are doing good things, basically. People who are helping other people.
I think you're right, and I think what you said about getting that nudge, right? So when I, as you've been saying that, I've been thinking, because I've always been like a carer, I suppose, always the person that was looking after everybody. And then when I got voluntary redundancy 15 years prior or something, I just started training to be a counsellor because I wanted to do good in job. I keep doing these things, and I'm not even on camera. I can't remember what
it reminds me of. I remember what's it Austin
and
£1 million.
I trained, but I went back to the corporate world. So I ended up 35 years in the corporate world. Probably 5 of them I liked. Probably, if I'm brutally honest.
The crumbs were there then.
Yeah,
the crumbs had already been
there. And then I didn't take that opportunity, and I went back. But I was always the main breadwinner, so my options were limited as far as I was concerned, because everyone relied on me. And if I decided to quit and go and do some, very, very low paid job, right? Because let's be honest, do good in jobs, generally, it's not right, but they are low paid jobs, aren't they? Which is disgusting, but that's another story. But I felt like I couldn't do it. And then obviously I got that big punch in 2020. And it was really weird because obviously for about 5 minutes I was devastated. But mind you, it's more of how dare you type thing anyway, middle of the pandemic, because at that point I was like 52. It's like, come on, cut me some slack, right? But I straight away I started on this journey. I had to go back to work, but I went back with a completely different mindset, that I was just doing it to get the money to do all my training. I didn't know where I was going to end. I didn't know I was going to be sitting here doing lives. I didn't know I was going to write a book. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know I was going to be speaking to people, because I didn't think I ever had anything useful to say. So why would I think that, But once you start working on yourself and you start uncovering stuff, doors start opening, and they're doors that you didn't even know you wanted to open. So the fact that I sit here now with you, and we met actually at a networking event, didn't we? And I was doing like a 10-15 minute talk, right? And Lucia was just looking at me going, yeah. And afterwards we spoke, didn't we? And then afterwards I realised why there was obviously such a connection. But one of the things I'll always be grateful for Lucia for, well, there's a few things, but one of them was that you was the person that told me that my Luther was my, you know, spirit. What was it? Spirit guide.
Spirit
And I
guide.
was like, ah! You know, no, I won't go into that now, but there's a whole whopping story about my Luther, but hence why I'm writing the book, right? But we were meant to be at that event that day. And then subsequently, I've been on one of your day retreats, which was absolutely amazing. I've got my vision board over there. And actually, this is like a good little segue, actually. I didn't mean this to be, but we're going to be going on this, aren't we, that you're running in September? About this.
Yeah. So this is so kind of going back to how I got into this as well, just so because people have heard me talk about the spiritual stuff. Now I'm more focused on helping people to really understand the law of attraction, their manifesting power. And the reason you'll see my business is called High Vibe Vision is because it's about creating a vision. This is what I'm passionate about. And again, so many people go through life not knowing what they want or being in that situation. Like we said, they could be stuck in that job and going, oh, I need to get out, but I don't know what I want. And I can't see the wood through the trees. I can't see where I'm going. And
when you've got the direction, it's easier to take the action, isn't it?
Some people have got exactly. Some people have got a really strong vision. And I've been watching the Olympics. Some people they're like, this is what I'm going to be an Olympian. This is my goal. This is my dream. This is all I've ever wanted. And that's their focus. And they freaking get it because they are laser beam focused. They know what they want and they take the inspired action and they've got that vision. But for me, and I see this so much, and you see a lot of manifesting. I mean, I've read every manifesting book out there that there is, and worked with manifesting the biggest things in my life, from my husband to career to cars to money to game shows to like parking spaces to almost shopping on discount, like whatever it is, the right outfit, people, friends, business partners. Like, you know, I work with this. I practice what I preach, but so many people and a lot of the manifesting teachings are like step one, work out what you want. Step two, step three, blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, so many people are like, what about step one? I don't know what I want. And that for me, I was like, this is where I got guided into this path, and I got guided to really focus on with people on their vision, to help them get really clear on their vision, to get clarity about who they are really, because we think we know what we want sometimes, whether we're conditioned from society, from our own belief systems, from, you know, family, from like, these are the things I should do with my life. And then when you really go in, so I love helping people really explore themselves, who they are, what they want, and really get clear and connect with their vision on that. And I've got some unusual methods that I use for that. So I've been running, as you said, Julie's been on my vision days. I do 1 day retreats, which I've absolutely loved. I love them. And then I got guided to do this event. So when I chose to go down this path, I was told that
it's my vision board.
Yay, love it. That my purpose here, my sole purpose, the reason I'm here at this moment in time, this is my purpose. And when you connect with your purpose, it is so freaking powerful. Was to unlock women's potential. And men as well, but I think being a woman myself, I'll connect more with females to unlock their potential and their power, so they can go and create a ripple effect in the world, working with women like Julie, who are then actually going on and changing people's lives. Like this is the kind of that ripple effect. And so they told me, you need to get in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And I'm like, okay. So when I started to do the vision days, I do them, they're quite intimate. It's 10 women at a time. I do them at my home. It's a really beautiful experience.
It was lovely.
But then I was guided. I kept getting guided to go, you need to go bigger. You need to go bigger. You need to go bigger. So this is how High Vibe Fest was born. It's a 1 day event. It's coming up on the 8th of September. And I'm really, really passionate about this. So it's not just me. I've got an amazing team of speakers and different modalities. It's all about, and I haven't even talked about vibration really as much yet, but it's all like our vibrational frequency. The vibration that we have, that low vibration is when we're kind of down here, fear, jealousy, anger, hate, and very low vibrational energies. And then you've got high vibration, joy, love, gratitude is your highest vibration. And when you're in that high vibrational state, that's when you're connected to your manifesting power. That's when your signal is going out and you're creating and you're drawing more of those experiences back into your life. And again, it's so important at the moment because there is so much kind of that fear mongering going on, and that hate, it pulls people in. So it's really important we raise our vibration. So a lot of the day is designed to raise our vibration, clear our energy field as well. Like we're all energy. I mean, we're all made of energy. Everything is energy. This is energy. That's got energy. Like whether you believe that or not, scientifically, it's a fact. It's not woo woo.
It's a fact.
It's science, and there's certain practices that you can do to help clear it. You know, when you feel a bit heavy, it's like imagine you've got. I always say that you look at the dusters, and you know the like energy sticks to it. So it's really good to cleanse our space, cleanse us physically as well, and raise our vibration. So we're going to be doing that through meditation, through workshops. And we've got an amazing sound healing journey that we're going to be going on. Again, vibration, frequency, sound healing's been around since day dot. It's incredible. I've got an amazing high vibes who are going to be taking us on a sound journey. A mindset coach, because mindset, as we know, is everything. It really, really is, for creating that vision for your life. And giving you the tools. It starts up here. It really does. So that was really important for me to have a mindset coach there who's going to do incredible. It's very interactive workshops. And then an amazing guest speaker who, by the end of that, Kim Mellor, buddy, if you don't feel empowered and ready to take on the world and just smash every goal you've ever had, by the end of her talk, like, I'll give you your money back. So she's just incredible.
A money back guarantee. There
Honest to God, like the whole day is designed, and then at the end of it, like we know, as we talked about, you hold stress in your body. We physically hold stress, and life, you know, I'm not trying to gloss over anything. I know life can be really stressful at the moment, and you know, especially like we said at the beginning, you're juggling work, life, family, finances, bills. Like the cars just broke down, and you know, we've got all these life things. You know, life is full on. You know, and there are a lot of challenges, and that's just the normal day-to-day stuff, without the big stuff being thrown at you. Whether you are going through a big experience, whether you are dealing with loss, you're dealing with grief or some form of trauma on top of all of that life stuff as well. It is a lot.
So how can they get? Well, we can obviously put a link in, but how can they get you any other way?
So you can find Morgan. If you've got any questions about it, feel free to message me about that. But we love it. There are some tickets left. Be amazing to just have. And I always say, if you feel called to it, if you feel like this, I need this, if something's telling you, I think I need to be at this, I want some of that high vibrations.
Well, I'm going to be there, and I'm on the comment spots. We've got a comment from Sue Booth, so she's coming. She's looking forward to it. And we've also got Angela here, who's been watching as well. Angela. And she doesn't watch the news, hasn't watched it for 5 years. So. Yeah.
It is low vibration, and again, I do tune into it every now and again, just to kind of, but I protect my energy with it, just to see what actually is being sprouted, because I think, and it's normally when it's on, you know, my husband watches it, so he'll have it on, and then I'm just like, I can't be in the room with them now. I need to go. Just no. But I've been watching some of it, the Olympics on it as well. The Olympics have just been so uplifting and so inspiring. I
did an interview actually recently, which I'll be streaming soon, with an ex-Paralympian.
Oh, amazing. It just blows. I mean, I was there. I was in Paris last week. Last week I was in Paris watching the Olympics, and it's just, I've got so much I want to share about the Olympics. It just blows my mind. It really, really does.
We need to wrap up now, though, darling.
Okay, sorry. I've always got a lot to say, but yes.
We're already past that time.
I knew we would go over. God, I've not even shared loads of I wanted to share. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's highvibe.vision. On Facebook, my page is High Vibe Vision, or feel free to friend request me, Lucia Craddock. Anything we've spoke about really resonates, and if it is resonating with you, if you're like, okay, I need to be part of this High Vibe tribe, I want to be around you High Vibe ladies, and it's about connection. Like the people who are coming to this event have got that energy, and I want people to connect, because when life does get a little bit or low vibration, it's important to be surrounded with the right people who are there going to be there to help you raise your vibration. So it's about making connections and finding your high vibe tribe. I'm really passionate about that, and so I made it. It's very, if you're on your own, like if you don't know anybody, I made it so it's like a wedding. We've got round tables, so you can come on your own, and by the end of it, you're going to have loads of new high vibe friends and just feel. Clarity, connection, and confidence. You're going to walk out of there going, right, I know who I am, I know what I want, I know how to get it, I know where I'm going, let's freaking go.
And obviously it's very it's location based, right? So obviously
yes, it is. It's in Battlesbridge.
It's in Battlesbridge in Essex. So anyone who's billions of miles away from there, maybe you might not be able to make it. But
but just get in touch with me. I do one-to-one coaching. We can have a chat. And again, I share, and I'm going to be showing lots more. I haven't been as amazing on social media yet. I'm still learning and finding my way. But I will be showing lots more videos and content that will help you as well. So even, just follow my journey on there. And if you've got any questions, then obviously always feel free to message me directly as well.
Yeah, that's no problem. I will share all your details.
Thank you, sweetheart. Oh, that's
so
lovely.
Thank you so much, darling, for coming on. I feel like this could be a series actually on its own, couldn't it?
Yeah, I've always got a lot to say. You weren't talking live for 40 minutes. I'm like, the problem is talking like, how do I get it?
I told her 30 minutes actually, so she's had a lot longer than she was supposed to.
Thank you to everybody who's watched as well. Again, if you're watching this on replay, then do comment and get in touch. Don't just sit there and feel like, oh, I don't want to get in touch. If there's anything that we spoke about that resonates and you want some guidance with, then please do just reach out as a friend to have an informal chat. We're both here for you.
Yeah, exactly. And this video, like all my others, will go up on my YouTube channel as well, which is Millieside Therapy and Coaching, where you can watch my client short videos, my client testimonial videos, and all my interviews on there as well. So
I'm not promoting. I'm really hot.
I can never get my camera right. It's really weird. It's like you're doing it all in reverse. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as Lucia said, if you need to contact either of us, then by all means do that. And we look forward to seeing you. And I look forward to seeing you next time with my next podcast. See you later, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, wherever you're watching this. Take care. Bye-bye.